Hello, 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 beautiful people. Welcome to Good Morning with me, Misti B. Now, we have all heard the saying that health is wealth. And let's be clear, I truly believe that, because what good is it to have millions of dollars, but your health is so poor? That's one thing that money can absolutely not pay for. So let's make sure that we're having preventative health care. And I'm saying that to say that today we are talking about Black health and multivitamins. Now, be honest with yourself. How many of us have just ran to the local drugstore to grab a bottle of vitamins, especially during COVID? Let's be clear, we all have, especially vitamin C. We've just been taking it because we don't want to get sick. Well, what if your body needs more than just vitamin C? Or what if the vitamins that you're picking up don't have everything that you may need? Don't worry about that, because today I have Dr. Hall all the way from Cleveland, Ohio, talking to us about multivitamins and what it is that the Black community, the Black body needs, because what we need is completely different from any other culture. All right, so guys, stay tuned. We're going to be right back with Dr. Hall right after this break. Get your pen and your notepad. Take notes.
Real estate can be a very complicated process. Finding one, how much can you afford? Financing, closing costs, mortgage, putting it on the market, considering offers, inspection, negotiations, submitting offers, schools, down payment, title insurance, home warranty, taxes, review net sheets. These are the pieces of the puzzle of home ownership. I'm the person who helps put it together and the glue that keeps it together. Give me a call.
My prenatal promise is to make sure my baby is safe and healthy, because I know it is possible to acquire syphilis, HIV, or other STDs without knowing it. Getting tested is my very first chance to protect my baby. Doctors are required to give expectant mothers 3 separate tests for syphilis. If you're pregnant, ask your doctor if you're being tested properly for syphilis and other STDs. Congenital syphilis can lead to a miscarriage, stillbirth, or an infant death. Don't risk your baby's health. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
Dr. Doe here again with a Late Health Presents, and I'd like to give you our Wellness Wednesdays tip of the week. Did you know that not only do the treatments for an enlarged prostate, but some of the medications for an enlarged prostate can cause the same symptoms that you're looking to avoid, namely sexual dysfunction. If you'd like to learn more, you can always check out our website, and you can always catch us here on Monday nights at 5 p.m.
I'm Jonathan Cox with the Cox Prater Law Firm. For years, we have represented people who have been hurt or injured all over the country, but Houston is home. We fight for those who have been hurt or injured, however it may happen. So if you've been injured in a car accident, big truck accident, or even while at work, call our injury hotline at 1-800-HURT-NOW or log in to BigCityAccidents.com and let us fight for you.
BigCityAccidents.com. We fight for your right to get back your life.
Well, welcome back, everyone. Today's guest, Dr. Hall, has come and joined us virtually all the way from Cleveland, Ohio. Hello there, Dr. Hall. How are you?
I'm fine. Thanks so much for having me.
How's it going in Cleveland? Everything going well?
Oh, yeah. Busy, but everything's going great in Cleveland.
Okay, good to hear. So let's jump right into this. All right, we're talking about multivitamins today. All right. And so let's be clear. Dr. Hall, most people, they go to the local store and grab whatever they see because they don't know what they're looking for, right? They see vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin A. Okay, that must be a good thing. Is that something that we, specifically the African American community, is that something we should be doing?
Well, yeah, I mean, you want to make thoughtful purchases, right? Based
Mm-hmm.
on, your needs. And so, I have patients ask me all the time, what multivitamin should I take? What kind of vitamins should I take? And so, until recently, most patients took a multivitamin. They take a vitamin D because, 4 out of 5 African Americans are vitamin D deficient.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would take vitamin C because we don't kind of get enough of vitamin C, and with all the benefits from immunity and stuff like that. And then once the pandemic hit, they started taking zinc because zinc has been shown to block viral replication. So when you're starting to get a cold, even, you should probably take some zinc, and that would help fight it off. So people were taking a multivitamin, a D, a C, and a zinc. And so when I wrote was writing my book on the clinical care, I realized it was all this data about deficiencies
Mm-hmm.
in African Americans. And so I decided to develop a multivitamin that had the right amount of vitamin D and the right amount of vitamin C, and added zinc at the right amount of zinc that was really tailored just for African Americans.
Okay, so you said you've been doing your research and when you were writing your book. So what is it that you see that African American people that we're most deficient in?
Well, by far it was vitamin D. By far it's vitamin D. I mean, and that's really related. It's related to urban living and not being outside when most of our vitamin D comes from the sun. And
Mm-hmm.
so we frankly just don't get a whole lot of sun. Some of it is related to our skin color, as we don't absorb the vitamin D from the sun as much.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and in our diet, right? Where do you get vitamin D most is in milk. And then like 80% of
We're
African
lactose
Americans are
intolerant.
lactose intolerant, right?
Yes.
So you can't get your vitamin D in your milk. So it's just sort of a constellation of events that led to that. And if you actually look at Africans in Africa, their
Mm-hmm.
vitamin D levels are much higher,
I'm
even the
sure.
urban dwelling ones. And
Mm.
so it's just something that's specific to African Americans.
Okay, any other vitamin deficiency that you see besides D?
Yeah, I think right now the biggest difference is zinc.
Okay.
Having a zinc deficiency, because particularly, there's data that shows that the zinc deficiency may be linked to increased prostate cancer and increased other types of cancers, right? And African Americans have the highest rate of colon cancer,
Mm.
of breast cancer, of prostate cancer, and zinc blocks basically cancer cell replication, right? And so
Okay.
we tend to have lower zinc levels, and that again is related to us, coming from Africa. In Africa, the soil is very rich, the water is
Mm-hmm.
very rich, and the vegetables are rich in the minerals that they come out of, right? And so when again got displaced to North America, the water is not as mineral rich,
Mm-hmm.
the soil is not as mineral rich as it is in Africa, and we had actually developed a way of blocking how much minerals we absorb because we come from such a mineral rich environment. And so in America now we don't get enough zinc or enough magnesium or enough
Mm.
manganese, enough potassium, because we actually built an ability to block that because we came from such a rich area. And so that's why African Americans tend to have specifically less potassium, less magnesium. Whenever my patients go to the ER, I said, "What happened?" "Well, they gave me some potassium, they
Mm-hmm.
gave me a little magnesium," and that happens a lot because we tend to be lower in that. And so most multivitamins don't have potassium and magnesium in it because white people and the rest of the population don't have a problem with that. We uniquely have a problem with that.
Gotcha. Okay, so you said vitamin D. Of course, we can get that from the sun. Where can we get
Mhm.
Where can we get zinc from?
Well, outside of my, that's a vegetable mineral. It comes in foods. It's just that our vegetables aren't as high in zinc as the vegetables that come from Africa. And so
Mm.
taking a supplement is really the only way you can get enough. I mean, it's sort of like when people say your potassium was low and I should eat some bananas. You'd
Mm-hmm.
have to eat 6 bananas in order to get what's in one tablet of potassium, and no one's going to eat 6 bananas. So we
I hope
really need,
not.
there's some supplements that we need, and we need to take, and zinc is definitely one, and vitamin D is definitely one. But then people who have really good diets, vegetarians, and
Mm-hmm.
they don't necessarily need a lot of B vitamin, additional B or additional
Mm-hmm.
selenium or things of that nature.
Gotcha. So let me ask you this. So I remember years ago, I may have been fresh out of college, so a long time ago. And I remember specifically asking my doctor, what vitamins do you want me to take? My doctor did a blood test on me and specifically said, okay, actually, I need you to eat this, this, and this. If you eat this daily, then you're good. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, what happened is over time we learned more. Some of the things I learned in medical school many years ago is completely wrong today.
Okay.
And I think that people, as we learn more, we know more, right? And I think that was probably appropriate when they said that. And I even said in the past, if you have a good diet, you really don't need a multivitamin. But I was wrong. If you have a good diet, you still aren't getting the vitamin D you're supposed to get, and you probably aren't getting the zinc that you get. But you'll get the vitamin C. You'll get a lot of what you need. But even with our diet, you just can't eat those things in the quantity enough for us to get the deficiency erased, particularly for African Americans.
Gotcha. So do you recommend that all those multivitamins we have on the shelf, we just kind of toss those out now? What are your thoughts? What should we do to make sure that we're getting the right amount of vitamins?
Yeah, well, I tell people that you don't want to toss them out, but multivitamins. One of the issues that I found, which I'm particularly sort of amazed with, is there's a lot of research out there that says that vitamin E is associated with an increased risk of prostate cancer and lung cancer. There were some other studies that said, well, maybe it's not, but there's been more studies that said that vitamin E is associated with lung cancer and prostate cancer.
Wow.
And so if, African Americans, again, we have the highest rate of lung cancer of everyone, all the races. We have the highest rate of prostate cancer of everyone, of all the races, right? And so I said, purposely left out vitamin E because, again, there's no data showing we're deficient in vitamin E, although people take it for their skin and for their hair, but there's no evidence that we're deficient like we are in vitamin D and zinc. And who needs to have their risk for cancer increase when you already have the highest risk? And so I tell my older men, particularly with, have a real high rate for prostate cancer, you really shouldn't be taking a multivitamin that has vitamin E or that has selenium in it, because selenium is associated with increased risk for cancer, just because we have the highest increased risk. So I feel like, when I have patients come in with, new diagnosis of prostate cancer, and they say, I take a vitamin every day, and I just I get a little pain feeling because, who knows? Probably not, but it's entirely possible that increased risk was there. I just felt like when we were developing the formula for sequence vitamins, that there was just no need to put vitamin E or selenium.
Okay, Dr. Hall, hold that thought for 1 second. We have to take a quick break, but we're going to come back because I want you to tell everyone about sequence multivitamins. All right, guys, so stay tuned. Dr. Hall is definitely educating me on something I didn't know, and I hope he's doing the same for you. We'll be right back right after this break.
Real estate can be a very complicated process. Finding one, how much can you afford? Financing, closing costs, mortgage, putting it on the market, considering offers, inspection, negotiations, submitting offers, schools, down payment, title insurance, home warranty, taxes, review net sheets. These are the pieces of the puzzle of home ownership. I'm the person who helps put it together and the glue that keeps it together. Give me a call.
My prenatal promise is to make sure my baby is safe and healthy, because I know it is possible to acquire syphilis, HIV, or other STDs without knowing it. Getting tested is my very first chance to protect my baby. Doctors are required to give expectant mothers 3 separate tests for syphilis. If you're pregnant, ask your doctor if you're being tested properly for syphilis and other STDs. Congenital syphilis can lead to a miscarriage, stillbirth, or an infant death. Don't risk your baby's health. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
Experience the pinnacle of performance at Big Star Cadillac, formerly Ron Carter Cadillac. Drive the new 2021 Cadillac XT5 Luxury Collection for only $449 a month, or the new 2022 XT6 Luxury Collection for $549 a month, all for 39 months lease with just $1 down. At Houston's only Cadillac to your door dealer, Big Star Cadillac, Gulf Freeway, just 2 minutes south of the Beltway.
Smarter when you shop at Big Star. Shop BigStarCadillac.com.
I'm Jonathan Cox with the Cox Frater Law Firm. For years, we have represented people who have been hurt or injured all over the country, but Houston is home. We fight for those who have been hurt or injured, however it may happen. So if you've been injured in a car accident, big truck accident, or even while at work, call our injury hotline at 1-800-HURT-NOW or log in to BigCityAccidents.com and let us fight for you.
BigCityAccidents.com. We fight for your right to get back your life.
Alrighty, welcome back, everyone. So I'm here with Dr. Hall. Well, not here technically, but he is virtually with me. So Dr. Hall, welcome back. And let's talk about your sequence multivitamins that you created. Talk to us about that. I want to know more.
Well, the multivitamins were basically made on scientific research that I did for the book that educates providers on about the clinical pearls, we call them, for best practices for treating African Americans. And I realized that there were significant patterns of deficiencies of vitamins and minerals that African Americans have that really weren't fulfilled by one pill, one vitamin pill. And so I figured we could put together a pill that would best replace the vitamin D, the vitamin C, the zinc, all the minerals, potassium, magnesium, all the things that we are deficient in, and also leave out the things that we're not deficient in, like vitamin E or selenium.
Got it. So doctor, let me ask you this. So I'm one of those people, I go to the park and I get lost at the park. Like I'm that person. I go for a run, a 20-minute run, and the next thing I know, it's been 2 hours, right? So I'm like, oh, I've been out here in the sun a long time. Is it possible, if I were taking sequence multivitamins and I'm in the sun for 2 hours a day, is it possible that I'm getting too much vitamin D?
No, the amount of time that you would spend in the sun would probably not be enough to do that. I mean, that certainly be better, but vitamin D toxicity people take a whole lot more of vitamin D. And so what's in sequence is just the recommended amount of vitamin D for African Americans. So like a regular multivitamin, the recommended amount for of vitamin D for white Americans is 500. The recommended amount for African Americans is 2,000. So most people, again, 4 out of 5 African Americans are vitamin D deficient. That's 80%. That's a lot of people. And so there are people that aren't, but maybe they are able to drink milk, or maybe they're able to be outside. Maybe if your job is to work, the freeway construction, or something where you're literally outside a lot, those people probably are getting enough vitamin D on a daily basis, but probably not with the run.
Gotcha. Okay, now I know we mentioned prostate cancer earlier. What is it that you see that African American women need more of?
Well, it's the same thing. I mean, even with breast cancer, for example, I may have misspoke earlier. I said the highest rate of white women have the highest rate for breast cancer. The black women have the highest mortality. They're more apt to die from breast cancer. And so it's curious that a cancer that occurs less can actually be more aggressive, and some of that may be related to not having the things that can block tumor replication, and so that may be related to zinc deficiencies. But but it hasn't been settled as much as it has related to vitamin zinc deficiency in men. So that's a little colored area, but just being healthy and having a healthy immune system, all that leads to help you protect you from getting cancer.
Gotcha. Now let me ask you a question. So this is something that is definitely important to me. How important is it for us as consumers or patients, to go to physicians who actually look like us? What are your thoughts about that?
Well, it's very important, and we've been seeing that more and more. I joke that black people sometimes they want a Jewish lawyer, or they want Italianists, but they always want a black doctor, right? You always want and people will Google black doctor in order to try to find a black doctor, because you want to find someone that you trust, or someone that you feel knows kind of where you come from, and that connection is what allows doctors to be able to give you advice that you would accept. I've seen many people go to the doctor and it's like, I'm not doing that. I mean, they're crazy. I'm not, they'll smile and nod and then leave and like, I'm not doing that. And whereas an African American say, look, man, we got an increased risk for prostate cancer. We need to check your PSA. You need to be taking some zinc. And that when you have that real conversation with someone you can connect with, that really makes a difference.
And I think you hit the nail on the head, doctor. Someone who understands your history, understands your background, understands the cultural background, what we may have been eating, or our grandparents, et cetera. But anyway, I don't want to get on on a tangent there. But I am curious, the research that you've done for this, I know you did it for your book. What inspired it? Like, what made you say, hey, this is something that my community needs to know more about?
Well, when I was appointed to the Commission on Minority Health 20 years ago in Ohio, and at that point, I thought minorities had bad outcomes, and the majority, white people, had good outcomes. But later, I found, Asian Americans, their average age is 87. Their average age at death is 87.
Okay.
African Americans' average age at death is 74. And so that is significant. So Asian Americans are doing very well. I mean, there's pockets where there's problems, but they're doing very well. Even Hispanic, Latino population, their average age at death is 82.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Again, compared 8 years higher than African Americans. So I felt like we needed something that was specific. The answer for minority health issues isn't the same, across the minorities, right? The problems that we have are very specific: cancer, heart disease, obesity, diabetes, right? They're very specific, and they're very different from other minorities. And so there really there were books that did minority health and minority this and minority that, but we needed something that was specific for African Americans, because our needs are different, our problems are different, and we need to have a laser focused look at how to solve those problems.
Oh, and you said something that really caught my attention. So usually they lump us in together, Black and brown, African American and Hispanic community. But you said that their life expectancy is longer. I'm just curious, off top, what could they possibly be doing differently? Because usually they always lump us in together.
I know. And when my book was rejected the first few times, they said, write a book about, Hispanic Latinos, and write a book about Asian Pacific. And I was like, I don't know anything about that.
Right.
My practice is 90-something% African American, and that's what I read about. That's what I know about. So I can't tell you specifically what they're doing to be living longer. They live longer than white people on average, right?
Oh, wow.
Average age 78 is the average age of death for white Americans, and so they're actually doing better in terms of life expectancy than them. But I think there's a diet. Obviously in the Asian Americans, there's a significant vegetarian diet, and there's a lot of bad habits. Less fried food, far less obesity, more walking and things of that nature. But we have a number of issues that we need to address as our community.
Okay. And so just to make sure before we wrap up, let's give them again, what vitamins do our community, we need to make sure that we're taking on a daily basis?
Well, all we need is Sequence multivitamins for African Americans, right? It's sequencevitamin.com. If you go there, or Amazon, a Sequence vitamin, it's like I said, scientific. I put thought and energy into what African Americans need, what we specifically need. And that vitamin pill is all you need a day. If you're not able to get Sequence vitamins, then you would take vitamin D. You'd probably take 2,000 international units a day. You'd take 500 of vitamin C, and you would take 15 of zinc. And aside from that, and then, whatever, based on your diet, those are what you would take. And so rather than take 4 or 5 different supplements, you could just take one easy supplement, sequencevitamin.com, Sequence multivitamins for African Americans.
All righty. Thank you so much for joining me today, Dr. Hall. Look, I'm looking forward to getting me some vitamins, okay? So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All righty, guys. So you've heard it right here first in Houston about these vitamins just for our community. It's definitely something we need to make sure that we're taking, and let's make sure we do that. All righty, guys. I'll be right back right after this break. See you in a second.
Real estate can be a very complicated process. Finding one, how much can you afford? Financing, closing costs, mortgage, putting it on the market, considering offers, inspection, negotiations, submitting offers, schools, down payment, title insurance, home warranty, taxes, review net sheets. These are the pieces of the puzzle of home ownership. I'm the person who helps put it together and the glue that keeps it together. Give me a call.
My prenatal promise is to make sure my baby is safe and healthy because I know it is possible to acquire syphilis, HIV, or other STDs without knowing it. Getting tested is my very first chance to protect my baby. Doctors are required to give expectant mothers 3 separate tests for syphilis. If you're pregnant, ask your doctor if you're being tested properly for syphilis and other STDs. Congenital syphilis can lead to a miscarriage, stillbirth, or an infant death. Don't risk your baby's health. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
Experience the pinnacle of performance at Big Star Cadillac, formerly Ron Carter Cadillac. Drive the new 2021 Cadillac XT5 Luxury Collection for only $449 a month, or the new 2022 XT6 Luxury Collection for $549 a month, all for 39 months lease with just $1 down. At Houston's only Cadillac to your door dealer, Big Star Cadillac, Gulf Freeway, just 2 minutes south of the Beltway.
Smarter when you shop at Big Star. Shop BigStarCadillac.com.
I'm Jonathan Cox with the Cox Radio Law Firm. For years, we have represented people who have been hurt or injured all over the country, but Houston is home. We fight for those who have been hurt or injured, however it may happen. So if you've been injured in a car accident, big truck accident, or even while at work, call our injury hotline at 1-800-HURT-NOW or log in to BigCityAccidents.com and let us fight for you.
BigCityAccidents.com. We fight for your right to get back your life.
Well, welcome back, everyone. Now, let's be very honest. Did you learn something from Dr. Hall? I know the answer is yes, because I know that I did. So listen, we honed in about how important it is for you to get a physician who looks just like you. Now, let's break that down for a second. And if you don't mind, I'm going to take off my Misti B hat and I'm going to be the Misti I grew up being, okay? So listen, you and I, we make sure that when we go and get our hair done, we want some braids. Who do we go to? We go to someone who looks just like us. Why? Because we know that they know what they're doing. Let's be clear. I'm not going to any other nationality to do my braids. Are you? The same thing with everything else. So let's make sure that we have a physician that looks just like us. And here's why. I had a friend once who was having issues with high blood pressure. This friend had a very healthy diet, did everything quote unquote right? So you're going to all these doctors and they're just shoving medicine down his throat. Now he goes to a black doctor, someone who looks just like him, and the doctor says, oh, well, this is a part of your family history, etc., and just breaks it down on a cultural level. This is what happens to our people, and this is why your blood pressure is high. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm not just going to shove medicine down your throat. I'm going to give you a regimen, a real life practice that you can do. That's the same thing, guys. We have to make sure that we go to someone who understands our history. No matter what your nationality is, you need to make sure that you're doing that. It's a very, very, very important. Now, look, I plan on getting some vitamins, okay? I'm gonna be very honest, and I hope that you are too. As always, if you have a very interesting story about your health, we want to know. This is something very important in our community. So make sure you chat with us on Facebook and on Instagram at A Star TV. Look forward to seeing you guys next time. Bye-bye.